Hello, this is Dr. Paul Cottrell, and I'm doing an update of the financial markets. It's Sunday, 3/29, 2026. And I'm going to go over the equity market, the treasury market, and also the energy market. But before I do, please go to my store, the-studio-reykjavik.com, and take a look at the great products that I offer. I have under store ebooks, also supplements and classes in pulmonology and immunology. But before we go over some of the details of the products that I offer on my store, you can help support the work that I do on my homepage and donate through Stripe, PayPal, or Buy Me a Coffee. You can just click the link and it'll allow you to donate. All these videos I do are for free. You can also watch my live streams, audio archive, and read the generated paper by going under broadcast. You can see the archive audio and you can download them if you want. You can watch the live streams that I do during the week, and you can read some of the articles that are generated under broadcast. So, in terms of the books that I have books on finance, on genomics, artificial intelligence, endocrinology. So take a look at them. I have 8 books that are all ebooks. I also have supplements. These supplements will help to slow down the aging process and to help certain organ systems to perform better. The structural nanosilver toothpaste, this will help to neutralize, it will whiten your teeth, freshen your breath, and reduce inflammation at the gum line. It's a very high quality toothpaste that has structural nanosilver, no fluoride. Max 35, Max 14, and Cleanse are liquids that will help to boost up your immune system. You take a teaspoon a day, every day, swish in your mouth, gargle. This will help to improve your oral cavity, your oral pharynx, and boost up your immune system. If you're not feeling well during the cold season, take a tablespoon or two a day. They're at different price points and different parts per million. The structural nanosilver gel, you can get it in the tube form or in the quick dispenser. They're at different price points, but you use them the same way. They're dual purpose. You can use it as a daily skincare. You can put it on a wound to help heal the wound, and it will help to neutralize during the cold season. So you just put it on your hands, around your mouth, around your ears, around your eyes, around your mouth, lightly coat your nostrils, and it will stay active for about 5.5 hours. You can get the structural nano silver soaps that I have in stock. I have lemongrass and peppermint in stock for the structural nano silver soaps. These soaps will help to neutralize and help to improve your skin health. I also have drops and lozenges. You can get the drops in blueberry, honey and lemon, and cherry, and the lozenges you can get in manuka honey and orange splash. I have probiotics. This is the veggie cap version. I also have the powdered version on another page here that I'll show you. This is the veggie cap version. Probiotics are really important to improve your gut biome, your immune system, and the ability to absorb your nutrients. C60 is a very potent antioxidant. You can get it in extra virgin olive oil, avocado oil, and MCT coconut oil. You can also get it in a 2 ounce, a 4 ounce, or an 8 ounce configuration. It is cheaper per ounce to get the higher ounce configuration. This is 1,000 times stronger than vitamin C as an antioxidant. You take a teaspoon a day every day. This will help to soak up free radicals, boost up the health of your mitochondria. Your energy levels will improve. You'll be able to improve your cardiovascular health, your immune system, your endocrine system, even brain function. It will also help the health of your basal layer of your skin. So if you take this every day, you are going to slow down the aging process. I also have vitamin D3, which is very important to absorb calcium and build denser bone. but it'll also help to get cells to go into apoptosis if they're infected. And vitamin D3 is super important for cardiovascular health and for the health of your cells because vitamin D3 is a gene expression cofactor. So when you have enough vitamin D3, your cells actually perform better. Vitamin C and magnesium will help with your immune system, your brain function, and your skin. Omega-3 will help with cardiovascular health, bring down inflammation, and control your lipid profile. Ashwagandha root will help to control your cortisol levels and your blood glucose levels. This will help with your immune system, your cardiovascular system, even brain function. Good night formula will help you to get into 3 to 5 cycles of REM sleep and deep sleep. This has tryptophan, melatonin, GABA, and passion flower. And by getting the proper sleep, you're going to be aging slower. You'll be well rested. You'll be detoxifying your central nervous system and consolidating memory. And this is the probiotic that is in the powder form. On the previous page, we had the VeggieCap form. Resveratrol will help to slow down the aging process. It'll improve the basal layer of your skin. It also soaks up free radicals and helps the mitochondrial health, so you have more ATP, helps with youthful gene expression. Vitamin B complex is really important to take if you are 40 years of age or older. This will boost up your energy levels, rev up your metabolism, and protect your neurons. Turmeric will help to soak up free radicals and bring down inflammation. That's really important for your cardiovascular health, your immune system, and brain function. Magnesium and zinc will help with brain function and immune system. Lignans helps the immune system and endocrine system, soaks up free radicals, and brings down inflammation. Collagen will help with your joint health, your skin, and your musculature and skeletal system. Digestive enzyme complex will reduce the load on your pancreas when you're digesting foods. This will help to break up carbohydrates, proteins, and lipids. Clarity factor will allow you to get rid of that brain fog. It helps you to concentrate, and over time, you're going to improve the dendritic connection so you are thinking faster and have better memory. Olive leaf extract is a dual purpose product. It's going to help to boost up your immune system and help with your cardiovascular system. It brings down inflammation and helps with your lipid profile. Zeolite helps to detoxify your body. It gets rid of heavy metals, toxins, and chemicals. You take 3 small drops underneath your tongue, drink filtered water, do that daily, and you will be able to get rid of those toxins by urinating them out within 6 to 8 hours. Myotrol has polyphenols, flavonoids, and lignans to help with the gene expression to build muscle. Do some resistance training, take the myotrol to help you to maintain and build muscle. This is really important for individuals that are 40 years of age or older, male or female. Boomer Boost has 68 nutrients that will help to improve your musculature, your cellular metabolism, increase your energy levels, help with brain function, help with cardiovascular health. It's a great product to slow down the aging process. Gladiator barley and heirloom barley are super important to detoxify your body, bring down inflammation, soak up free radicals. It's a great way to slow down the aging process and to recover quicker after a workout. Also, Gladiator barley has an added feature that will help to add strength by doing resistance training. Both the Boomer Boost, the Gladiator barley, and the heirloom barley are a month's supply per container. Collagen will help to improve your joint health. It can stop the erosion of your joint by blocking MMP3 and MMP13. It will also help to reduce the discomfort and inflammation by blocking EP4. Collagen also helps with using collagen type 2 to remodel the joint, help to build up the cartilage, and ACAN to help with cushioning the joint. And collagen can also help to recruit the glucosamine to help to remodel the cartilage and chondroitin to help cushion the joint. So it's a great product if you have joint pain because of a sports injury or just getting older. Now, I also have, you can take it also with the collagen or separately, but the super strong relief, and you apply it to the area that you have pain. It's great for headaches, muscle aches, joint pain, bruising, sprains. It allows for quick relief, and it's just a topical. You just apply it topically, and within about 90 seconds or so, the pain is relieved or eliminated. Now, the anti-aging boxes that I have, I've curated, I'm not going to go into the details of this, but I've curated many different anti-aging boxes and longevity boxes. Most of them I have in stock. And it's a great way to get a bundle of products at a discount. And so, like, for example, the anti-aging deluxe box, you get the Max 35 and the C60, vitamin D3, vitamin C, toothpaste, the Digest probiotic, and resveratrol, just for $253. So you get a lot of different products. Another great product that I have is the anti-Fauci deluxe box, where you get the Max 35, C60, D3, magnesium and zinc, turmeric, ashwagandha, omega-3, digestive enzyme complex, and lignans for only $3.90. So there's these are great values to get started to slow down the aging process. Also, I have longevity boxes, such as the longevity immune system box, which has lignans, turmeric, and the olive leaf extract. So this is a great way to try to save some money and to bundle some of the products, or you can buy them separately. And I also have classes on pulmonology and immunology. You get a lot of information about these subjects. You get videos and PDFs. You can log in as many times as you want. Once you pay the fee, you get a unique password and you'll be able to log in under classes. You type in your password and you can watch the videos and download the PDFs. It's a great way to learn about pulmonology or immunology. So with that, please go to my store, the-studio-reykjavik.com, and get the great products that I offer. And if you would like to help support the free content that I provide, please donate through Stripe, PayPal, or buy me a coffee. With that, let's go to the markets. All righty. Okay. So for the S&P 500 ETF, SPY, we have been slowly selling off, as you can see, since the beginning of our operations in 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 Iran. All right. And it was pretty just kind of like just sitting there trying to get above 700, and then it started falling. All right. Now we had a support level at 660, and you can see here at 660, you can see that the candles, these day candles, were trying to stay, you know, just above, and then it fell. All right. Because of the news that's coming out where there's really no deal, and it looks like we're going to have some ground troops. And the next support level after the 660 was the the 645. And you can see that it was trying to, that 645 was really trying to support. You can see it on the whisker and you can see it on the Thursday candle, but Friday it plunged. So now it closed at 634. The next support level based on the fib sequence, right? This is going back to the low point of April of last year, of last year. going all the way to the high point of 697 in January of this year. So we're now going to be at 38% retracement soon here. That's a very strong support level, 614. So do not be surprised that we get close to this 614 as we start our ground offensive. Now, I still have a target for the S&P 500 at 7,400 to 7,800. That's for the S&P 500. If you're comparing it to SPY, then it would be 7,040, I'm sorry, 740 or 780. Okay. So that's my year-end target for SPY, 740 to 780. But it is very possible that we will be testing the 614 mark as we move towards the ground offensive with the Marines, most likely with airborne. Now, it looks like there's going to be a two-front situation for the United States. We're probably going to have to get involved with the Houthis to prevent them from blocking the strait in the Red Sea. So if 640 breaks, I'm sorry, if 614 breaks, we'll be testing the 600 and the 588. That would be the 50% retracement. But this 38% retracement should be a very strong support level. So I would think that trading is going to get closer to the 614 before it gets to the 660. But there might be this trading range here of, maybe 620 to 660. Depends on what happens in the news. I mean, Trump can say something and radically change the market. But just so you understand this, there is a strong support level at 614 for SPY, which translates to about 6,140 for the S&P 500. Okay. Now, oil. This is WTI futures. It closed at $101 a barrel. And you can see, well, things were, trading for a while at around the 50 handle, around 55, 56 to about 60 handle, and then it started creeping up. And then we had the war. And once we started the war with Iran, bam, it really ticked up. So this fib sequence is from the low of 54.98 up to 119. And that didn't last for very long, and then it came back down, but it seems to be creeping back up. All right, so if we take a look at some of these fib sequences, if we don't have de-escalation in the region, our next resistance level for oil is going to be 104. And our support level right now is going to be 90, around 94, 95. So we have a 95, about 95 for support, resistance at 104. So we're probably going to have a trading range of 95 to 104. It's right now trading at 101. That's short term. Okay. If we start to have good news, all right, then we're probably going to have a trading range that is more closer to the 87 to 95 range. But if we hear news that it's escalating, then you're going to have a near-term trading range of 95 to 104. And that 104 resistance level probably is going to break. And then we're going to be testing the 110 mark and potentially even the 120 mark. It really depends on what happens, how fast, how successful the Marines and the airborne will be, how we can control the region at the two straits, the Strait of Hormuz and the Strait of Abba al Mandab, I think is the name of it. All right. So that's oil for right now. Now, natural gas futures also have been ticking upward. Natural gas wants to go down. All right. It's getting to the summer season. We're approaching the summer season, and natural gas usually falls during this summer season. It wants to go down, but because of what's happening in the region, the Middle Eastern region, it's creeping up. It wants to go below three, but and you can see that a couple of these candles, it was trading at like 2.8, 2.9, and then it bounced back up Friday at over three. So it wants to go below three. So three is like a resistance level. The question is that if we are going to start seeing escalation in the region, this may tick all the way back up to 3.2. All right. And if it de-escalates, then we're probably going to see a 2.8, 2.7 natural gas futures. Okay. Now for the belly of the curve here, this is a ETF, TYD, that trades the 7 to 10 year treasury. It's a 3 times leveraged ETF. And how this works is that if the actual price of the treasury of these treasuries go up, then TYD goes up. And that would mean that the yields on the bonds are actually going down. Okay, so this is based on price. And this is long. This is a bullish ETF for bonds. All right. Now it's been going down. If you take a look at what's been happening since since the beginning of the war, it's been going down. Now, if you've been paying attention to the 10-year treasury, the 10-year treasury yield has been creeping up. Now, there's a couple reasons for that. Now, the 10-year treasury currently is trading at um, 10-year treasury is currently trading at 4.4. Before the war, it was getting close to just four or maybe slightly below four. Because the Federal Reserve is concerned about inflation expectations due to higher energy prices, they're not fully committed on cutting rates. And because they're not fully committed on cutting rates, they're holding steady. And the bond market is now starting to increase the yield of the 10-year because the Federal Reserve is not lowering rates. So now it's at 4.4. There's some inflation expectation too. On top of that, also indebtedness of the nation that adds to the stress in the bond market. And so you can see that TYD is starting to fall. If we start getting less pressure from the Middle East and energy prices start to go down, then you probably will start seeing a rally in the bond market where the yield for the 10-year is probably going to get closer to 4.1, not 4.4. And if that happens, then you should see TYD going up. If that does happen, because this is a 3 times leverage, with that good news, you probably would see this trading closer to probably closer to 24.83 than the 23.92. Probably get closer to the 50% retracement. Now, so short term, very short term, this is going to be heavily predicated on news from the Middle East. Support level, we have a 23.41 for TYD, and we have a resistance level at 24.24. All right. So keep that in mind. Now, this chart here has a few things going on. It has the 30-year Treasury, it has the 10-year Treasury yields, the Federal Reserve rate, the funds rate, and the spread between the 30 and the 10-year. So if you take a look at with the war starting in Iran, we can see that the yields for the 30 went up and the yields for the 10-year went up. They went up, it looks like uh, they went up faster for the 10 than the 30, and therefore the spread between them went down a little bit. In addition, the Federal Reserve decided to hold rates steady. So because they didn't lower rates, the 10-year didn't drop because if you take a look here, it was just below right before the war, it wanted to go down. It wanted to go below 4 because the Federal Reserve was probably going to lower rates. And you can see the 30-year yield also wanted to go down. But because of this change now, um, the spreads are a little bit tighter between the 10 and 30 because the 10 is moving faster. But you have the Federal Reserve holding rates and it's going to keep on creeping up, plus the inflation expectation from energy. Now, the VIX is a volatility index. VIX is an ETF that you can trade if you want, but it's a great way to take a look at where's the stress in the market and how it may affect the S&P 500. Now, if you pay attention to this curve, you can see that it spikes, 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 right? But these spikes don't last for very long and they come back down. That's called heteroscedastic. So they're short-lived. So there's stress in the market sells off, and then it starts to come down. Sometimes it comes down really fast and the market heals. The S&P 500 heals and starts to go up. Sometimes it comes down slowly and then the market continues to creep down. Now you can see that there's stress building up, building up, building up, building up, right? Building up, building up. Now look at this. Stress was low. When you're below 15, it's stress in the market's low. It's the S&P 500 is climbing. You have a little bit of stress building up and then wow, big spike and then comes back down quickly. Then you have some volatility because of everyone's worried, but then people are buying into the market and it starts to calm down. And there may be a little bit of another spike and then comes back down, but it doesn't build up. This is like building up of energy here. And it's been starting since the beginning of January. All right. So there's a very high probability of it spiking to 45. Now let me give you an example of why I'm saying this. All right. Sometimes you have spikes and then you have another spike that's less than the previous spike, and then maybe another spike where it's less than the previous, and another one that's less than the previous. And so stress is slowly going down. When you take a look at where the maximums are for each of these spikes, right? Now take a look at what's happening since January. Spike comes down. The next spike is higher than the previous spike, comes down. It's trying to stabilize, comes back down, and then spikes back up higher than the previous, comes back down. And then, so I'm starting to see here that there's a lot of energy being built up and stress being built up. Now, this coincides with what we're seeing in the SPY, which is the ETF for the S&P 500. Right? In January, stress was starting to build up with the VIX, and it didn't want to break the 700. And then once the war started, it started to collapse. So we go back to the VIX, and you can see the same thing happening here, that the stress is building up. Now, if you take this point here, max, and this point here, max, and you drew a line, that line is getting close to around the 45 mark. All right. For the VIX. All right. It's getting close to the 45, a little bit, somewhere before 45 and 50. All right. So it's going to intersect approximately right here. All right. Once we do our ground offensive, and it looks like it's going to be taking a little while, we're going to see a spike of 45, and that's probably going to coincide with a spy of testing. I would not be surprised if we hit 45 if that test is breaking 600 or testing that 588. Right here is around where I think 45, 50 VIX may hit. So, and that's heavily event driven. Now, we did spike a little bit in the VIX on Friday. It's probably going to go back down a little bit. It's probably going to be trading in a range of 25 to 30. But if we get some bad news, some escalatory news, it's going to probably spike in the mid 30s, come back down a little bit, more escalatory news, spike up to 40, come back down. See, and then it's going to keep on creeping, and then there's going to be a surge. There's probably going to be a surge into 45, 50 range. But there's definitely, this is showing that the market is going to have a sell-off in the S&P 500 if we continue the escalatory ladder in the Middle East. Okay. BOIL is an ETF that's tied to natural gas. Just to remind everybody, the natural gas wants to trade below 3, but because of the war in the Middle East, it's pushing above 3. And it's going to trade in a range of 3 to 3.2, maybe 3.3. If it de-escalates, then it's going to trade at maybe 2.7. Now, BOIL is a long ETF that's leveraged, 3 times leverage, right? And if you take a look at BOIL, we have a support level at approximately the 17 range. Okay. It traded at around 1760. Well, no, the support level is probably around closer to 16. But we've been trading at 1769. So around 15 or so. No, 15, 1520 is the support level. All right. So 1520 is the support level. It's trading at 1769. If we have escalatory news, which it looks like we will, and natural gas starts to trade back up to 3.2, 3.3, then you're going to be hitting the $20 a share for BOIL. If it de-escalates, then it's going to test the 1520 and probably go back down, probably go down. It probably wants to trade below 15 because of the natural usage of natural gas during there's a demand, there's less demand as the season warms up. But we also have natural gas taken offline because of the destruction of part of the GETTR natural gas facility. But that's more tied into LNG. But natural gas futures also is affected by the LNG market. So I guess the takeaway here is that we have a support level of 1520 for BOIL. But with the escalatory ladder that's taking place, we're probably going to see this get closer to 20. If we get some really negative news in the energy sector because of the war. So I would say a trading rate, it's probably probability of it going up to 3.2 for the natural gas is probably higher than going below 3. So it's getting the probability to get closer to 20 is higher than getting closer to 15 for BOIL. All right. So with that, that's my overall market update. beware with the equity market that there's going to be more of a sell-off here, and we're going to be testing the 614 support level and potentially even testing the 588 level for SPY. Please go to my store, the-studio-reykjavik.com, and get the great supplements that I offer. And please help support the channel. All these videos I do are for free. Share the links, ask your social media to follow me. You can follow me on YouTube, Brighteon, Bitchute, and Rumble, TikTok, X, GETTR, Buy Me a Coffee, Substack, Patreon. There's many ways to follow my work, including Podomatic and Apple Podcast. Thank you for listening and have a nice day.